New Zealand has heralded a reset in relations with Australia after meeting Prime Minister Anthony Albanese in Sydney for the first time. Live to political reporter Trudy McIntosh in Sydney. Trudy, any movement on the controversial issue of deportations?
Kenny, Prime Minister Albanese says he's heard the message loud and clear from his New Zealand counterpart today on this usually thorny issue of Australia's deportation policy. It's an issue that comes up every time an Australian Prime Minister has met with a New Zealand Prime Minister in recent years. Jacinda Ardern, though, making no secret of the fact that the relationship now with Anthony Albanese has been reset compared to what it was under former Prime Minister Scott Morrison. When she met with Scott Morrison in 2020, she said that this was a thorn in the relationship and potentially damaging to the relationship as a whole. In terms of deportations, Jacinda Ardern making that case privately and publicly at the joint press conference, saying she'd like to stop seeing criminals deported back to New Zealand when they've spent their whole life here in Australia.
I was also heartened by the acknowledgement of New Zealand's significant interest and respect of the treatment of New Zealanders here in Australia. And of course, what I heard was a real awareness of some of the issues that we've long raised.
While Anthony Albanese made it clear today there is not going to be a scrapping of the deportation policy altogether, that was never on the table, let's be frank. There could be changes in terms of implementation. Anthony Albanese pressed on whether he's willing to use ministerial discretion in some of these cases and be flexible with the implementation. He said he's going to work through proper processes and that common sense will prevail here. But as for the formal policy, he says there's no change.
That Section 501 should be maintained, but there is also concerns have been raised that need to be taken into consideration as friends. We deal with each other in a mature and way which deals as well with common sense.
Trudy, where are the two leaders at on climate change?
Well, it was warmly welcomed by the New Zealand side to see a change of government and the new climate action that has flowed with that. Anthony Albanese went to this election pledging a 43% emissions reductions target by 2030 and that net zero policy by 2050. That has been welcomed by the New Zealand side. She says our neighbours in the Pacific also welcome stronger climate action given the serious practical consequences they face from a warming climate. Here's Jacinda Ardern and Anthony Albanese. He says this policy for 43% has been a game changer in his world talks so far. He's met now with Jacinda Ardern, the Indonesian president, just earlier this week, and also that Quad talks where we saw him with US President Joe Biden.
So it's incumbent on us to do our bit. I know with regards to New Zealand, we have a lot more to do, but we welcome being joined on that journey by Australia.
And I have met with international leaders, including Prime Minister Ardern. It's like Australia has gone out of the naughty corner. We've been in the naughty corner for 9 years.
It's just a quick stopover for Jacinda Ardern. The New Zealand leader will now head back across the ditch. Anthony Albanese will meet with her again, though, next month. They are going to be both at the Pacific Island Forum. There, the focus will be on regional security. Read into that the relationship with China in the region. There has been some differences in recent years in terms of how Beijing has treated the two countries. Australia in the deep freeze and New Zealand hasn't been. That has slightly changed in the last week. New Zealand signed on to this joint statement in the United States regarding regional security, and that angered Beijing. Today, Prime Minister Albanese is saying the two countries are in lockstep when it comes to China. Kenny?
Trudy McIntosh, thank you.